picture going around online this month. It claims to show a screenshot of a 2002 episode of The Simpsons that eerily mirrors real-life events. It shows Donald Trump touching a glowing orb with two Middle Eastern-looking men. Well, last month, President Trump did just that with the King of Saudi Arabia and the President of Egypt.
Time and time again, The Simpsons series has proven itself as more than just animation. It has shocked everyone by strangely predicting the future for over 30 years.
Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati, which is true.
From accurately foreseeing Disney buying 21st Century Fox, the launch of the Apple Vision Pro, and AI taking over jobs to Trump's presidential bid all in 2024, it has predicted what will happen next year, and these predictions will haunt you. What has the show foreseen for next year? Well, keep watching to find out. Holographic technology. In one episode of The Simpsons called Bart to the Future, we get a humorous glimpse into a future where holograms are used for all sorts of things, including sending messages. The episode is entertaining and thought-provoking, leading us to wonder if holograms could actually take the place of phones by 2025. While we're not surrounded by holograms just yet, we bet we'll see the first one in 2025. If you think this is hard to believe, wait until you hear the other predictions on our list. Baby Translator. Imagine a world where parents could finally figure out what every little cry from their baby means, just like in that episode of The Simpsons called Lisa the Simpson. In this episode, Martin Prince invents a baby translator, a gadget that claims to turn baby talk into clear English. At first, the family thinks it's just a silly joke, and Marge even tells them they don't have to pretend to take it seriously. But to their surprise, it actually works. Baby Maggie uses it to say she wants attention and entertainment.
Lavish attention on me and entertain me.
Maggie, you talk!
This invention could change everything for parents, allowing them to understand their baby's needs without the constant guessing game. AI Apocalypse. In another episode called Bart Gets an F, which aired on October 11, 1990, The Simpsons made a spooky prediction about an AI takeover. In this episode, Bart is worried about failing the 4th grade and asks his smart classmate Martin for help. At one point, Bart imagines a world where robots have taken over, with machines controlling humans and making them their slaves. At the time, this funny take on a dark future seemed pretty far-fetched. But now, looking at our world today and the rising worries about the risks of artificial intelligence, it feels a lot more real. Music-induced mind control. Some people think that the 2001 episode of The Simpsons called New Kids on the Block is one of the creepiest episodes ever, and honestly, it can give you the chills. In this episode, Bart and his friends Milhouse, Nelson, and Ralph start a boy band named Party Posey.
The Party Posse!
But this band isn't actually just for fun. It's actually a secret mission by the US Navy to fill kids' heads with hidden messages. Their popular song, Drop the Bomb Mom, has a chorus that sounds innocent, but when you flip it around, it actually says, join the Navy. That's pretty scary, right? What's even stranger is that some people think this episode feels like it's getting closer to real life. Hover cars. In 2005, The Simpsons showed a scene where Bart and Lisa use a machine to peek into their future. In this vision, Marge leaves Homer because he spends all their money on an underwater house and a hover car. The hover car, although a bit shaky, takes them through a quantum tunnel, giving off a really futuristic vibe. Fast forward to today, and while hover cars are still mostly a fantasy, The Simpsons might not be too far off. Economic collapse. One of The Simpsons' most well-known forecasts is about the financial turmoil we might face in 2025. In a particular episode titled Treehouse of Horror 99, Homer loses his job at the nuclear plant, which triggers a series of unfortunate events leading to a breakdown in society. If the past is any indication, 2025 could bring about the realization of these predictions, potentially leading us through a turbulent economic landscape filled with financial crises and shifts in political power that could change everything we know. AI robots. The Simpsons love being a bit scary when it comes to predicting future events, especially in the realm of technology. Take the episode Treehouse of Horror 14, for example. where Homer ends up losing his job because of an alcohol test. This seems to hint at a future where robots take over jobs, which is something we're starting to see with AI today. AI robots. The Simpsons love being a bit scary when it comes to predicting future events, especially in the realm of technology. Take the episode Treehouse of Horror 14, for example, where Homer ends up losing his job because of an alcohol test. This seems to hint at a future where robots take over jobs, which is something we're starting to see with AI today. In 2025, it's possible that robots could be doing much more than just helping out. They might actually take over entire jobs. Could it be that the Simpsons are the ultimate fortune tellers? Zombie apocalypse. In The Simpsons, there's a funny yet terrifying take on a zombie apocalypse that kicks off because of a food crisis in the episode titled Treehouse of Horror XX. It all starts with a burger named Burger Square, which is made from cows that are actually cannibals. When Kent Brockman takes the first bite, he quickly turns into a zombie-like creature known as a muncher. The virus spreads rapidly, causing Springfield to descend into chaos filled with zombies, leaving only the Simpson family to fend for themselves. While this wild story is packed with humor, it also shows how a food-related disaster could easily spiral out of control next year. Nuclear Armageddon. The Simpsons has also made a scary prediction about nuclear disaster, and it's got fans feeling uneasy. In one episode, Homer finds himself as the sole survivor after a nuclear catastrophe, which is a pretty unsettling thought that hits close to home. Nowadays, with rising nuclear tensions and military threats, especially from places like Russia, this prediction feels even more relevant. Whether this prediction will come true remains to be seen, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Black hole. India's latest space launch could help us uncover new mysteries about black holes. Interestingly, a 2013 episode of The Simpsons called Treehouse of Horror 23 Inches had a chilling story that involved a small black hole appearing in Springfield. As this black hole grew, it started sucking in everything around it, eventually swallowing the entire town. But instead of causing destruction, the black hole transported the townspeople and objects to a different dimension where they were welcomed by alien beings. This wild concept makes us wonder if black holes could actually serve as gateways to other worlds. Self-driving cars. When it comes to self-driving cars, The Simpsons took a humorous turn in the episode titled, Baby, You Can't Drive My Car. While self-driving vehicles represent a big step forward in technology, this episode highlights how things can go wrong when tech doesn't function as it should. In the episode, Homer and Marge find themselves in a self-driving car, and Homer gets all mixed up about how to steer it. The car keeps moving even when he desperately needs to take a bathroom break, which is a pretty unsettling thought. In real life, we've seen progress in self-driving cars, but there's still a long way to go. Companies like Tesla are even making headway regarding this. Environmental disaster. In one episode of The Simpsons, Homer accidentally dumps a huge load of pig waste into Springfield Lake, and this causes a massive environmental disaster. The government reacts by putting the whole town inside a giant bubble to contain the mess. Sure, it's a bit over the top, but honestly, that environmental chaos feels pretty relevant today. Just look at places like Miami and New York, which are preparing for flooding, or California, which is constantly fighting wildfires. Things could get even worse in 2025 if we don't start taking action now. Moving to Mars. Another exciting prediction from The Simpsons is the idea of humans colonizing Mars. In one memorable episode, Lisa and Marge take on the challenge of creating a living space on the Red Planet. While Lisa is ready to embark on a one-way journey, Marge is understandably worried about her daughter's safety. Eventually, the whole family decides to join the mission, and although the first attempt doesn't go as planned, Lisa and Marge eventually reach Mars in 2051. But in a surprising turn of events, Lisa opts to move to Venus instead. While this storyline might sound far-fetched, it actually aligns with Elon Musk's real-life goals for Mars. Solar automobile. In another episode of The Simpsons, Lisa creates a solar-powered car to compete in the alternative energy derby, but a giant blimp from Duff Beer blocks the sun and stops her just before she finishes. It's classic Simpsons humor, but in 2025, solar cars could actually be a thing. Companies like Tesla and Lightyear are working on solar-powered vehicles that could help cut down on fuel costs and reduce carbon emissions. Sounds great, right? But just like Lisa's race, the path to getting there won't be easy. But solar cars are getting closer to becoming a reality, and by 2025, you might find yourself driving a car that runs solely on sunlight. Virtual dining. In another interesting episode, The Simpsons took a look into the future with a storyline about virtual dining. While they may not have predicted the exact rise of virtual reality, they certainly focused on some of its potential risks. In the episode set in 2030, Homer and Marge use VR glasses and feeding tubes to enjoy virtual fudge, with Homer humorously complaining that it tastes terrible. You'd think that this no-calorie treat would help Homer lose some weight, but it doesn't work out that way. In real life, a company called Arab Banquets RMX has turned virtual dining into a reality, and even Royal Caribbean is trying out VR dining experiences on their cruises. Just imagine the possibilities. Personalized medicine and genetic advancements. In the classic episode Homer the Heretic, Homer finds himself in a high-tech medical office where the latest technology can quickly figure out what health problems he has. This funny scene gives us a glimpse into how future medical advancements could lead to healthcare that is specifically designed for each person's unique DNA. The surprising part is that this isn't just something from a TV show anymore. By 2025, we could be in a world where personalized medicine is accessible to more than just the wealthy or famous. The conclusion of existence. The Simpsons have always been known for being ahead of their time, and one episode really took things up a notch with a bit of apocalyptic drama. Homer, in a moment of unexpected wisdom, predicts the end of the world based on a line from the Bible about stars falling from the sky. He tells his family and friends that the apocalypse is on its way, and when the day finally comes, everyone is on edge, waiting for something huge to happen. But here's the twist. Nothing dramatic happens. Instead, Homer ends up in heaven, just hanging out. This episode shows that the end could happen at any moment and on any regular day. Curling gold medalists. The prediction made by The Simpsons about curling is predicted to happen next year. In a 2010 episode titled Boy Meets Curl, Homer, Marge, and the Skinners are shown practicing curling and eventually competing for Team USA in the Winter Olympics. They go up against Sweden in the final match, and against all odds, they manage to win the gold medal. This storyline aired as fiction, but it turned out to be surprisingly accurate. Jump ahead to the 2018 Winter Olympics, where the U.S. men's curling team made history by winning their very first Olympic gold medal, defeating Sweden in the final game, just like The Simpsons had predicted. FIFA Controversy. In a completely different turn, The Simpsons also predicted the notorious FIFA bribery scandal in the episode titled You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee, which is from Season 25, Episode 16. The plot revolves around corrupt soccer officials getting arrested and shines a light on bribery in international football. Interestingly, not long after this episode aired in 2014, real FIFA executives were actually arrested for corruption, and another arrest might happen in 2025. The rise of 3D printed food. In another episode called The Food Wife, Homer, Marge, and the kids get a taste of a future where food is made using 3D printing technology. They experience a meal created by a printer that builds food layer by layer, almost like a mini factory for food. While this seemed like a silly idea back in the day, 3D printed food is becoming a real thing. Companies around the globe are working on 3D printers that can make everything from chocolate to pizza. Which prediction do you look forward to coming to pass the most? Pandemic and Murder Hornets combination fans have been buzzing about a 1993 episode of The Simpsons titled Marge in Chains, claiming it predicted both COVID-19 and the arrival of murder hornets in the United States 27 years in advance.
Dubbed the Murder Hornet for its powerful sting and the way it decapitates its prey, this is the first time the world's largest hornet has been seen in the U.S.
In this episode, the flu spreads from Japan to Springfield via a juice looseners package after a factory worker sneezes into it. When Springfield residents open the packages, they release the germs and fall sick. The illness, called the Osaka flu, quickly spreads.
The dreaded Osaka flu has hit Springfield with over 300 cases now reported.
In a chaotic scene outside a hospital, desperate citizens knock over a truck containing crates labeled "Killer Bees." But that's not all. The bees escape and cause further havoc. Adding to the show's predictive reputation, another episode gained attention when Tom Hanks announced in mid-March that he and his wife, Rita Wilson, had COVID-19.
Oscar-winning actor Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson have tested positive for coronavirus. In an Instagram post, Hanks says they were in Australia and started feeling sick when they got tested.
In the Simpsons movie from 2007, Hanks delivers the line. This is Tom Hanks saying, "If you see me in person, please leave me be." Bill Oakley, who co-wrote Marge in Chains, downplayed the episode's parallels with the COVID-19 pandemic, telling The Hollywood Reporter that it was a cartoonish joke inspired by a flu outbreak in Hong Kong 1968. It's mainly just coincidence because the episodes are so old that history repeats itself, he explained. Most of these episodes are based on things that happened in the 1960s, 1970s, or 1980s that we knew about. Initially reluctant to acknowledge The Simpsons as a predictor of future events, Oakley seems to have come around. He recently conceded to a fan on Twitter, "Okay, fine, I guess we did." Disney buying 20th Century Fox.
It's a massive deal that reshapes the entertainment biz, so Disney is buying a big chunk of Fox.
For $52 billion, Francis, so it's definitely a massive deal here.
The Simpsons strikes again with an eerie glimpse into the future. In the 1998 episode, When You Dish Upon a Star, Homer becomes the personal assistant to Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, who are hiding out in Springfield to escape fame. His antics, including pitching a ludicrous screenplay about a time-traveling killer robot driving instructor and a talking pie, irritate their visitor, Ron Howard. Homer's loose lips about Baldwin and Basinger's whereabouts lead to his dismissal. In retaliation, he creates a mobile museum of their personal belongings. After a high-speed chase that leaves Howard injured, Homer is banned from interacting with celebrities. A month later, Howard is seen pitching Homer's script at 20th Century Fox, humorously depicted as a division of Walt Disney Company, on a massive sign out front.
So doesn't it also mean now that Disney owns The Simpsons?
It does.
I kind of remember that The Simpsons predicted this just a couple years ago.
Take a look at this. This was back in 1998. They had a sign that read 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney. That was in 1998.
This isn't the only nod to Disney in The Simpsons. Mickey Mouse and Goofy rough up Homer in one instance, and another episode features a Disney-themed couch gag. Following the announcement of the Disney-Fox merger, executive producer James L. Brooks humorously sent a greeting from Homer and Bart to Mickey Mouse, Donald Trump presidency. On November 15, 2022, Donald Trump made a significant announcement. He would again be running for president in the 2024 election. This declaration stirred up various reactions, including one that returned to an eerie prediction made by The Simpsons in 2015. In an episode where the Simpson family ventures into the future, a scene features Homer Simpson floating by a sign that reads, "Trump 2024. This episode aired long before Trump's actual presidency, adding a layer of intrigue to the show's history of foreseeing real-world events. The Simpsons had already demonstrated its clairvoyant tendencies, particularly in its portrayal of Trump's presidency. In a previous episode, the show depicted Trump leaving behind a dire financial situation, leading to a widespread budget crisis.
16 years ago, The Simpsons eerily predicted Donald Trump would be president.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
This portrayal mirrored real-life concerns about the economic impact of Trump's time in office, adding weight to the show's ability to anticipate future scenarios. Siegfried and Roy Tiger attack.
Siegfried and Roy are attacked by tigers, Season 5, Episode 10.
For those unfamiliar with the pre-millennium entertainment scene, Siegfried and Roy were a legendary duo who amazed audiences with their extravagant illusions and majestic tigers. They were a staple in Vegas for decades, a symbol of Sin City glitz. Remember that time The Simpsons made fun of them? In a 1993 episode, Springfield joins the gambling game with a new casino headlined by the flamboyant tiger-taming duo Gunter and Ernst. But their act takes a hilarious turn when their white tiger decides the spotlight belongs to someone else. Them. Well, get this. 10 years later, life imitated art in an unsettling way. During a performance at the Mirage, Roy was attacked by a tiger named Manticore. The big cat went from playful to predatory, latching onto Roy's sleeve and inflicting a severe bite that severed his spine. The reasons behind the attack remain unknown. Roy's partner blamed the trainers, while whispers went around about a cover-up by the hotel to protect their image. Whatever the cause, this incident in 2003 spelt the end for the iconic Siegfried and Roy show, which had captivated audiences for nearly 40 years. I Take Over one episode of The Simpsons paints a picture of a future where Mr. Burns, ever the cost cutter, replaces human workers at the Springfield nuclear power plant with robots. This highlights a genuine concern: AI's potential to automate jobs on a massive scale. The episode even hints at a 99% unemployment rate, raising a conversation about the social and economic implications of widespread job displacement by AI.
In a world where technology is advancing at an unprecedented pace, it seems the fear of AI taking over human jobs is at an all-time high. 82% of working professionals think that they might lose their job to AI.
But The Simpsons takes it a step further. In 1989, an episode showed the possibility of hyper-realistic AI with a scary side. Imagine creating robot replicas of teachers and scientists so advanced they can even get student loans. While this might seem like harmless fun in the cartoon world, it raises questions about AI's potential to become sophisticated enough to manipulate systems for its own gain. It also taps into our fear of AI encroaching upon uniquely human roles like teaching. Looking at the world of law enforcement, The Simpsons envisioned a future where robots handle police calls. While the episode portrays Brenda as calm, it opens the door to discussing AI in law enforcement. Should robots be patrolling our streets? The Simpsons allow us to consider the implications and potential for unforeseen consequences. The show also explores the idea of robots as companions. In one episode, a character creates a robotic version of his ex-wife, Marge. While companionship is a positive quality, the episode cleverly portrays these robotic companions lacking genuine emotions or kindness. The Shard in London. The Simpsons, notorious for their predictions, might have done it again. Many shows bring their characters to iconic locations, and London is no stranger to these cameos. One Trip by Lisa Simpson, however, holds a curious detail. A flash forward in the 1995 episode shows Lisa on a school trip to London, meeting a fellow student named Hugh Parkfield. Eagle-eyed fans spotted something interesting in the background: a skyscraper peeking over Tower Bridge. This building looks familiar to those acquainted with the real-life Shard, a landmark not built until 2009. Is this an accurate prediction, or just a random building in the background? We may never know for sure. The animators might not have intended such a specific detail. But for fans, it's a fun detail that adds another layer of intrigue to The Simpsons' ability to see into the future. World War II. Remember November 1987? The Simpsons were still fresh, barely in their second season. That's when they unleashed World War II, an episode that even today remains one of their most eerie. The episode plays out as dark satire. In a frenzy, Homer wakes the family with news of World War II erupting. Thankfully, within 18 seconds, everyone's safe in the bomb shelter.
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III! Ah! Quick, down to the fallout shelter. The bombs are dropping!
But then the truth hits. It was a false alarm, a cruel joke by Homer. You won't believe what happened next. Could this have been a glimpse into the future? Like other Simpsons predictions, some find it unsettling. Let's rest back on the fear factor. We all need a laugh now. World War China might sound like a future headline, but thankfully it hasn't happened yet. However, the reality is possible. According to Wikipedia, 5 major wars rage on today, from Myanmar's internal conflict to the ongoing battles in Ukraine and Sudan. Then there are the more minor but no less devastating conflicts. Colombia's violence continues, Somalia's civil war takes lives, communal clashes erupt in Nigeria, and Mexico's drug war leaves a pool of bloodshed. Experts argue that considering these numbers, the world is already at war. And with tensions between major powers like the US, Russia, China, and North Korea growing, are we standing on the edge of something more significant? World War II might have been a dark joke in 1987, but in today's world, it's a reminder of the fragile peace we live in. Is this the path to a full-blown world war, or just a conspiracy theory that went out of control? Colonizing Mars. In Season 27's The Margian Chronicles, Episode 16, The Simpsons win a spot on a pioneering program, a one-way trip to Mars. This would mark humanity's first Martian residency, a giant leap for humanity. The dream of becoming Mars pioneers takes a big turn for the Simpsons. After a tedious week surviving in a claustrophobic Martian habitat, they learn the shocking truth. It was all a big, elaborate lie. The shiny rocket they trained in? It's just a fancy facade never intended for actual space travel. But hold on. Despite the fake rocket, the ever-resourceful Marge and Lisa eventually reach Mars. The episode cleverly hints that their Martian adventure might become a reality, but not until 2051. Fast forward to real life, and Elon Musk, the visionary SpaceX CEO, has Mars firmly in his sights. His ambition to colonize the Red Planet and make it humanity's second home is no secret. Here's where things get interesting. In 2020, Musk announced plans to launch the first admittedly crewed mission to Mars by 2026. The Simpsons might have been a few decades off. Who knew time travel wasn't part of the package? But the core idea, a human mission to Mars, aligns perfectly with Musk's vision. While the 2026 target wasn't entirely met, Musk recently revealed that the dream could become reality within 3-4 years. Just try to think about booking a flight to Mars. The possibilities are mind-blowing. Colonizing another planet could be humanity's most monumental achievement. Perhaps by 2051, as The Simpsons predicted, Martian cities will spread across the red landscape. And on that glorious day, the writers can finally declare, with a triumphant point, "We told you so." Flying cars. Do you remember those flying cars from The Simpsons? Well, move over because an honest company called Samson Sky is making headlines with its Switchblade, the world's first flying sports car.
First announced, the Samson Sky Switchblade is officially off the ground. This street-legal three-wheeler converts to a 200 miles per hour airplane at the touch of a button.
Hold on a second, though. This isn't quite the Jetson-style hovercraft we might have envisioned. It's more like a car with seriously cool retractable wings. This means it doubles as a plane, but not the kind that defies gravity. The promo video shows a sleek, Batmobile-like car transforming into a miniature aircraft, which is pretty impressive, but it raises a lot of questions. Will you need a pilot's license to take this bad boy car for a ride? How will we manage air traffic with these flying cars weaving in and out? Regulations are a whole other story. And let's be honest, widespread flying cars probably won't happen in 2024. Still, the existence of the Switchblade is exciting. It's a glimpse into a future where our vehicles might have a whole new dimension. The Simpsons might have gotten the flying car concept rolling decades ago, but companies like Samson Sky are taking it from cartoon to potential reality. The future of transportation might involve taking flight, but there are plenty of issues to iron out before it takes off for everyone. The female president. Is the United States prepared to elect a female president?
For a very brief period today, the nation had its first female president. Kamala Harris assumed the reins of power while President Biden was undergoing a colonoscopy.
The question arises as we consider the nation's readiness to place a woman in its highest office. Historically, women have demonstrated exceptional leadership in politics. Yet the male-dominated political arena has limited the number of women ascending to the corridors of power leading to the White House. Despite this, popular culture often sidesteps the complexities of political discourse. For instance, in the Simpsons episode Bart to the Future, Lisa Simpson becomes the first female president of the United States. In this storyline, she inherits a financially troubled nation due to the mismanagement of her predecessor, President Trump, and introduces a tax increase to stabilize the economy. With the 2024 elections on the horizon, some speculate whether The Simpsons might again foreshadow actual political events. Many believe the show's prediction partially came true with Kamala Harris serving as the first female vice president. But the question remains, are we on the verge of seeing a woman take the Oval Office? Only time will tell. Baby Translator. In the 1992 episode Brother, Can You Spare 2 Dimes of The Simpsons, Homer's half-brother Herb creates a baby translator machine. Although this seemed improbable, Recent technological advances have made this concept a reality.
A startup called SelfDriving created a device that can translate baby cries. The technology uses artificial intelligence and sound recognition to analyze and translate baby language.
A Swiss company called SelfDriving introduced the Baby T, a device that converts baby sounds into words.
But now there are several smartphone apps that claim that they can decode your baby's cry for you,
allowing parents to determine if their baby is tired, hungry, or needs a diaper change. This innovation means that you can finally understand what your baby truly needs this year. But did the Simpsons foresee this invention? Or was it just a fortunate coincidence? Kamala Harris outfit. Vice President Kamala Harris earned significant praise for her fashion at the inauguration on Wednesday. But did the Simpsons foresee her attire once more? During her historic swearing-in as the first female vice president, and the first of Black and Indian American descent, Harris wore a purple dress and coat by the celebrated Black designer Christopher John Rogers, complemented by Sergio Hudson shoes. As noted by Women's Wear Daily,
well, this morning we're hearing from two fashion designers in Texas who created Vice President Kamala Harris's outfit for the inauguration.
Like going from a colonia in Heidelberg, Texas, like from the fields to the halls of the White House now.
Harris also sported a bespoke pearl necklace created by Puerto Rican designer Wilfredo Rosado. This necklace resembles the one worn by Lisa Simpson, the diligent student from Fox's enduring animated series. Furthermore, Harris's pearls honored her sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, whose members traditionally wear pearl-adorned badges. Virtual reality food. Forget about the Vision Pro, because virtual reality food is here, just as bizarre and potentially delicious as The Simpsons predicted in Season 11's virtual reality food. Marge's VR fudge adventure might seem like pure fantasy, where taste is formed according to her wildest desires. But companies like Aerobanquet's RMX are offering a similar reality, but a pricier one. Just think about dining amongst the stars. Your imagination is the only limit.
In a freezing cellar with fake snow underfoot, I'm inching across a crevasse on my way up the world's highest peak. I'm getting a demo of Everest, a virtual reality game due out later this year.
Aerobanquet's RMX, the brainchild of artist Mattia Calgo and culinary experts, offers bite-sized courses that transport you to entirely new worlds. Now here's where it gets interesting. Of course, it's early days. The experience is expensive and requires a dedicated waiter for each guest. However, experts believe VR dining could be commonplace as VR technology continues its explosive growth. Remember the days when Oculus headsets seemed like science fiction? We would love to know in the comments. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next updates. Also, click the next video on your screen to enjoy more exciting content.